Hello, my friend. I am so excited to dive into this week's podcast episode for you on this week's astrology. Oh my goodness. This is going to be an intense week. A lot is happening in the sky, and I'm excited to dive into it. So, in this week's episode, I'll be going through the major transits of this week. I will then share how your friendships are connected to your career. And I'm going to dive deep into this using astrology. I will then end off this podcast episode with a tarot reading of what energy to embrace, what energy to let go of. So let's just dive right into it. Starting off the week on January 21st, we have the Sun in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. Oh my goodness. This is intense. We have a Pluto cazimi, and this is going to feel like a lot is coming up to the surface. This is a very intense day where we could get these realizations of what needs to change when it comes to our identity, our ego, and how this relates to our community, our friendships, and society in general. So we have this very powerful configuration with the Sun conjunct Pluto. And Pluto is the planet of death, transformation, and rebirth. So when the Sun is in this conjunction, there's something we need to change in our life. There's this really powerful moment where perhaps you could experience an ego death when it comes to this, because the Sun is our ego, it is our vitality, it is how you shine. And Pluto wants you to really confront your shadow self. Pluto wants you to confront something within yourself. And when we talk about Aquarius themes, we really speak on forward thinking ideas, forward movements. I also see this as groups and community and dreams and goals and ambitions. What's also really relevant is during this time, we could experience the TikTok ban. I kind of see this being a backlash to that. Perhaps we get more information on this. Yet, what's really interesting about this day is you could learn something about yourself. You could be faced with being in a place of how can I change either my friendship groups or how I show up for my community, how I show up in my friendships. This is very Aquarius, and this is ultimately going to be very beneficial. Yet it can feel uncomfortable. We can feel uncomfortable when we face part of our shadow. So I'm so curious to see what happens for you on the 21st, because I also see this as you could learn something new about yourself through your friends, through your community, or through social media. Try not to be super obsessed on social media this day. Pluto can add this obsessive quality to it, so please be cautious of this. Now, what's also happening the same day is Mercury in Capricorn is square Chiron in Aries. Oof. Okay, honestly, this is a very intense day. We have some old wounds around our sense of worthiness coming up on the 20th, and we're going to have some conversations around this. You could feel as though something potentially triggers you around maybe your independence, being seen, or understood for who you are. And perhaps this is a work situation where there is some tension. There is this conversation where it doesn't make sense anymore, or something needs to change in terms of this. So, this is inviting change, and this wound that comes up is brought up to heal. Really good to keep in mind that Chiron is actually helping us. Chiron is an asteroid known as the wounded healer. So when it is affected, it is the sensitive part in our charts, and we need to kind of confront it. We can't ignore it. Try not to brush things off. I will say, with Mercury in Capricorn square Chiron in Aries, be careful of lashing out during this time. Try not to be reactive. Try to take things with a grain of salt. Try to understand where someone's coming from. Really good to keep in mind. Yet, I ultimately see this is really beneficial to you, because when we confront what is still hurting us in some form, we're also trying to plan ahead and figure out, okay, what do I truly want for myself? How can I really understand my own desires? And how am I giving that to myself? How can I feel worthy just as I am and lovable just as I am? Really good to keep in mind, right? Just remind yourself you're worthy, you're lovable. Very, very important to just show to yourself this day. Then on January 23rd, we have Mercury in Capricorn opposing Mars in Cancer. So the beginning of this week, I will say, quite intense, quite a lot. This is an energy where you could have a bit of a combative conversation with someone, especially a work situation or a family member. This could be a past issue being brought up for you. I will say that this feels a bit sensitive. Someone could lash out at you and be a bit passive aggressive. Mars is still retrograde in the sign of Cancer, and Mars is uncomfortable in the sign of Cancer. So this could look like perhaps a family member taking out and projecting onto you something that happened to them at work, and it doesn't have much to do with you. So this is a possibility. This could also be a work situation where a boss or someone in authority is lashing out because of something that happened to them at home, and you might not know this. This is also a possibility. Or you're trying to figure out how to balance out your home life and your work life, and it is truly affecting you, where you're confronted with something needs to change. Something needs to change. When we have that opposition, there has to be a decision, right? So please keep this in mind. A lot being brought up at the beginning of this week. I know it sounds very intense. It is an intense week. It does get better at the end of the week. It does get so much better. Yet, please take time for rest, take breaks, try not to be reactive, be proactive, and really think about what you want to say before you speak. Good advice with this opposition. On the same day, on January 23rd, we have Mercury in Capricorn trine Uranus in Taurus. Okay, so even though we have Mercury opposing Cancer, we have Mercury in this lovely trine to Uranus and Taurus. So this can be some surprising conversations. You could have a really lovely breakthrough around your self-worth, your self-value, money, or your physical possessions. This could also look like planning ahead for the future, but figuring out, what do I need to do to save money in a way that makes sense for me? What do I need to do month per month? Making a budget, making a plan. This could also look like trying to create just more harmony when it comes to your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, but having this concrete, grounded vision for the future. Now, this is a lovely surprise. I also see this as maybe you're having a conversation and it's leading you through this realization when it comes to your own money mindset. Maybe you've realized, okay, maybe I was acting out of scarcity, but now I'm going to lean into my abundance mindset. Maybe I don't really need to purchase this item, but I'm going to save and purchase this investment. So I love this. this is very supportive. So this is the energy we kind of need right now. So what's also happening because of this trine, Mars in Cancer is sextile to Uranus in Taurus. So how we're going to act around this is going to be very different. This is going to be a bit surprising. You could get out of your comfort zone on this day. I potentially see this as trying to do things differently, trying to think out of the box in terms of the work you do, in terms of your dating life, and also how you work at home and how this is corresponding to your finances or to your self-worth or self-value. So even though we have this tense opposition between Mercury and Mars on this day, we have this lovely support from Uranus, and Uranus wants to teach you, okay, how do I break free from what I think is the problem? Am I sure this is the problem? Can I look at this in a different way? Can I change things up? Can I shake things up in the best possible way for me and really see the solution in terms of things? What does this look like? So, very interesting day. Then on January 25th, we have Venus in Pisces trine Mars in Cancer retrograde. This is really, really lovely. Honestly, I personally love this transit. This looks as though perhaps you're reconnecting with some friends. Maybe you are in a place of redecorating your home. Maybe you are trying to do some lovely artwork at home. This also looks like maybe you're going to a restaurant with friends and you're having some deep spiritual conversations. Perhaps you're going to a meditation. Perhaps you are going to a sound bath. This looks super, super lovely for healing work in terms of moving your body, in terms of doing something artistic and creative. So, such a lovely day for creative projects, for appreciating art, for having fun, and I would say to do something a little bit more restful because Mars is in Cancer retrograde, so maybe this is yoga. That would be so perfect for this day. Then on January 26th, we have Mercury in Capricorn sextile to Neptune in Pisces. So, what's really interesting with this is we're having some really dreamy conversations this day. This looks like, okay, how can I envision what I want for my goals for the future in a different way? This is a beautiful day for vision boarding. This is a beautiful day to appreciate art, but also just to create a schedule for yourself and figure out, what does my dream routine look like? This is a lovely time for this. What's also happening this day is we have Venus in Pisces sextile to Uranus in Taurus. So our finances, as well as how we show love and affection, are being shaken up this day. So you can get a lovely surprise when it comes to your relationships. Perhaps someone messages you out of the blue and it's a very loving message. Perhaps this is a lovely treat in terms of food. Maybe someone gives you a cookie, or you just go and get treated to a lovely meal in some form. This could also look like a lovely payment from a client, or perhaps this is just understanding, oh, I feel so loved by this beautiful spiritual experience. Maybe you're in deep meditation and you just get this realization of, no, I'm so whole and complete on my own. I feel so good on my own. I really see this for this day. It's a really beautiful transit. Again, with Uranus energy, expect the unexpected. We have a lot of Uranus transits this week. Luckily, they're more lovely aspects to Uranus, which is great. Yet we do have this intense aspect to Mars this week, as well as that square to Chiron. So I really want you to pace yourself this week. And also, this is going to be a huge week to plan ahead, to plan out your year ahead. And I think you're going to get some really lovely breakthroughs as to how to change things up and do things in a way that is very different, unique, but also really fun. This is a very creative week with these aspects to Neptune and Venus. And I will say, if you want help in planning out 2025 for you based on the astrology, I am hosting my free 2025 workshop on the 23rd. So I'll leave a link to that down below if you want to join in. You'll get a replay if you can't make it live. However, if you make it live, you get a special offer, so be sure to make it live. Yet, I really wanted to share this workshop because honestly, it's a beautiful way to plan out the year because this year, the astrology of 2025 will 100% change your life. There's just so many changes in the sky that I'm mind blown by how much can happen in a year. And when you're prepared for it, that's when the magic happens. When you actually are very intentional with your time, when you're intentional with what you do and how you plan out your months, your weeks, your days, that is going to be super, super impactful for you. And opportunities come to those who are prepared. So I hope to see you for the live 2025 workshop. That's going to be so good. I'm super, super excited. And those are our transits for the week. Again, very intense week at the beginning of the week, especially. So please pace yourself. Try not to be reactive. With Mars still retrograde in the sign of Cancer, expect some delays, expect things to take a bit longer than expected. And I know that's frustrating. I know it's been a while, right? Mars will still be retrograde until February 24th. So we're just kind of trucking along, trying to get things done. So that's why things are taking longer than expected. Now, in this week's episode, I wanted to talk about how your friends are connected to your career. And I think this is a very juicy topic. I also wanted to specifically talk about friends when you are an adult and making friends as an adult, because I think it's honestly a beautiful topic to talk about in Aquarius season. And hopefully you're excited for Aquarius season. Yet, what's really interesting is a lot of people see this so differently. I think we can have friends with different careers, yet it's knowing that the people you surround yourself with, the 5 closest people you surround yourself with, are going to greatly impact your career, are going to greatly impact your business if you have a business. And this is because if someone in your circle doesn't support you and your work, this is going to hold you back. This is so important. I think what's really interesting when we think of the connection between friends and career in astrology, this is really good. This is juicy. Let's look at the 11th house. Now, the 11th house is our dreams, our goals, our ambitions, our network, our friends, and social media. This is a bigger collective energy, but this is tied to our career because your career can still be a goal or a dream. Your business can be a part of your goals and dreams. And the 11th house is the money we make from our career. So it's really important to kind of consider this when we're thinking about our friends, when we're thinking about our community, because community helps us thrive. Community helps us grow. And this is something to really pay attention to. So when we think about how your friends are affecting your career, we could also take this example of the 3rd house in astrology. And the 3rd house is our communication, it's our local neighborhood, yet it's also our siblings and our close friends. How do your close friends affect your communication? Because your communication is so important when it comes to your business, if you have a business, because if you are not communicating about what you're offering, what you're selling, no one's going to know how you help people. Now, it's really interesting that our close friends are connected to our communication. This makes sense because ultimately you would have to communicate with your close friends quite often. So your language with them would be very similar, or you would have a very similar mentality. If you don't, then it's something to kind of keep in mind when you're thinking about your career and business, because ultimately we have to kind of figure out how our communication fits into this, how our friends fit into our life, and how we fit into their lives, and how we're all connected, how everything in our life is connected. Your romantic relationships are connected to your career is connected to your friends, your home and family patterns are connected to your career. We see this with the fourth, 10th house axis, which I've spoken about multiple times in previous episodes, so you could go check those out. Yet, it's super, super interesting when we see this in astrology because our community and friends is so important when it comes to growing our business. And ultimately, you would want friends that support you in terms of your dreams, right? Very, very important to kind of think about in this context. And if we even look at the seventh house in astrology, yes, that's your serious relationships. That is potentially your romantic partner, of what partner would be good for you. Yet it's also the house of contracts, business relationships, but one on one partnership. This is also relevant to a friend. If you're seeing a friend one on one, you're still going to look at the seventh house. So, really keep this in mind when you are thinking about your close circle of friends. Which friends do you want in your life to uplift you? Do your friends share the same values as you? And what has made me reflect on this a lot this week is I recently reconnected with one of my friends from kindergarten, and it was honestly so lovely. It made me so happy because it really showed me, even at a young age, I knew who would be a good friend for me, right? And I think we need to really listen to our intuition more when it comes to which friends make us feel good about ourselves, which friends really support you and uplift you. I felt really supported in that friendship. And I say this because I am very lucky in my friendships. I'm really lucky in my relationships. And yes, I'm still single, but in the context of relationships, I have Jupiter in my 11th house. And what's really interesting when I think about this is, for me, this has helped me greatly in my career is my friends. And I also say this as I'm also helping a lot of my friends in their career as well because I love to support my friends in terms of their businesses. I remember even if a friend doesn't have a business, I have referred people to companies or connected people together. And I see this as one of my biggest strengths. Jupiter is probably one of the most important magnetic points in your birth chart. It is the planet of luck, opportunity, growth, expansion, and wisdom. Jupiter is so important to know when you're looking at your strengths, when you're looking on what to focus on. And for me, I know I need to focus on my relationships and my friends because that's what makes me feel uplifted when I have the right friends. And when I'm thinking about this in terms of how your friends are connected to your career, but also making and maintaining friends as an adult, that's been hard for me. I'm going to be really honest with you. It's been very difficult for me in my 30s to maintain friendships because for me, it's been me looking at it as okay, I love this person, but are we on the same path? in life, right? I think this is a very important question that not many people ask. You can still be close friends with someone who's on a very different path, but then if they do not understand your unique path, that's going to be very confusing. That's going to make you feel unseen, and you ultimately want a friend who makes you feel seen. I think being seen is such an essential need for us. We need to be seen in our life in some form. And for myself, I have Chiron in Leo, which is one of my greatest wounds is I didn't feel seen when it came to who I was as a person, especially in my family, especially with certain friends growing up. So for me now, that's what I prioritize. I prioritize friends who make me feel seen, but also thinking about which friends do you see and you leave feeling energized, you feel excited, you feel uplifted, you feel like you can believe in your venture even more so than you did before. Whereas there's some friends that I've had in the past that made me feel drained, that discouraged me to go after my dreams, that kind of put me down. And really thinking about this more this week, especially in Aquarius season, because I really feel like Aquarius season really helps us in understanding we are all connected in terms of life in general, and we all need community. We all need friends. And sometimes we over prioritize romantic relationships, so much so over our friendships that then we get so disappointed when we don't have that romantic relationship. But what's helped me the most is me being single for the last 5 years. I don't really care anymore. Like, I really don't care that much about finding a romantic partner. Would love it. Honestly, I would truly, truly love it. But ultimately, I do want to find a romantic partner who is my best friend. And I don't think that's too much to ask for. Yet, I really, really love showing up to my current friends. I love just seeing my current friends, but it is tricky, right? When we think about what does this look like in our adult lives, sometimes I do need to schedule out times to see my friends months in advance, right? And I'm okay with that as a Virgo stellium. I really prioritize that. I also really love having the moon sign creative community because I get to see everyone in the community twice per month. And it's so amazing in this way because I feel so nourished. I feel so uplifted by my community because everyone in the community is either an entrepreneur or creative and is really striving for self growth and to manifest their best life. So I really, really enjoy this. I invite you to the community if you're looking for that, if that's something that you feel drawn to. Yet, what I really want to speak on is with our friends, with our career, we have to kind of figure out okay, what from the past is holding us back from achieving this next level of our career, of more fulfillment and love in our life. And for me, my realization this week after seeing my childhood friend, I we were best friends in kindergarten for reference, and it really gave me this realization of wow, I feel like I've unlocked a new level of healing because for the last week, I've been really prioritizing meditation. I've been really prioritizing visualizing what I want in my life. And supportive friendships is really key for me. So it was so nice seeing this in person in my life in Toronto, but also understanding that you need to feel joy, you need to feel love, you need to feel safe in your life if you want to attract more friends, if you want to attract the next level of your career, if you want to really get to the next stage in your business. And honestly, I had to really go back to this time when I did not feel lucky in my friendships, when I felt really hurt and scarred because when I was younger, I was bullied as a kid. I was too much. I was too annoying. I was too out there and too different. And this is some really hardcore Aquarius themes right now. I am a Leo sun, yet no one in my life has really seen me as a Leo sun because I have Chiron in Leo. And again, Chiron is our deepest wounds. So for me, it's been healing my fear of being seen, my fear of being too much, being too egotistical, being too out there. And it made me dim my light. After getting bullied as a kid, I remember thinking at a certain point, I have to stop caring. And this was honestly helpful. I had to detach. I was too attached to what other people thought of me. Yet I had to detach from, okay, I need to stop trying to control a situation, right? Also, if we go back to Pluto, in terms of the energy this week, power and control can be huge major themes of this week. Okay, and we need to learn how to detach. So we could want to try to control a situation this week at the beginning of the week. Later this week, we are trying to really detach from this. So try not to get hyper focused at the beginning of the week. Yet, going back to my story, honestly, it did take me a lot of time to kind of reconcile with the fact that no one was seeing me as I am. And the problem is, when you're a kid, this bullying happened when I was like around 13. Yet the problem is that was such a sensitive age for me. And I just remember that my father passed away just a few years earlier. And that's what triggered this entire situation where I felt like I had to be someone else, or I had to do more. I had to care so much. And I always am going to care more because I have a Cancer moon. Yet it was me realizing that I was seeking out so much external validation at that time in my life because I didn't feel loved, right? It all comes down to love. When you think about it, sorry, my Cancer moon. I didn't expect to cry, but when you think about it, all we're always seeking is love, and it's always going to come back to that. And I know I have Venus as my chart ruler, but it's understanding that when you start to do the healing work, when you start to see this in your life, when you start to understand that the people you attract in your life are a reflection of you, and the five closest people to you really show you what you are craving, what you see and think about yourself. And also, this is all impacting your career as well and what you're striving for. Who do you want to help? Who do you want to help in your business, right? For myself, I know I want to help people who have experienced the same things as me. I want to help people learn how to love themselves in a deeper way. I attract people into my life because I know that I can make them feel seen in terms of astrology. It's something we all crave, it's something that we all want. But also, it's that creativity, it's that expression. We all are looking for that authenticity. And going back to my question for this week of how are your friends connected to your career, we see this in our birth charts. It's knowing that your relationships are so, so important when it comes to your business, when it comes to your career. This is why networking is a thing in terms of business. This is why we need supportive friends. And sometimes we just get lonely and we need people in our life. We all need community. This is a very Aquarius theme. And what is really useful about your birth chart is really seeing your strengths so that you can focus on those strengths. You can focus on what's working for me. Because oftentimes it's just the mindset shift of okay, I'm hyper focusing on this one thing. And sometimes we're like, why am I doing this? Sometimes there's a trigger that needs to be healed from the past that you just have to move away from, that you need to move through. But also, it's understanding that the people you surround yourself with are going to be essential for your success. The people you surround yourself with are going to help you get to the next stage in life. So, I hope this really gives a good reflection of this connection and what that situation taught me this week about healing wounds, about being bullied. It did take me time, okay? I will say I'm still working through a lot from the past, and I feel like I'm in a really good healed state, but healing is a process. I want you to remind yourself of this. I also will say that I'm so lucky because of my Jupiter in Leo in the 11th house, because I keep attracting amazing, amazing, growth oriented, supportive friends into my life. And I didn't always have that, right? Because I didn't focus on that. But now that I see it, now that I see that strength in my birth chart with Jupiter, that is when my life really changed. And I keep seeing this growth and I keep seeing this beautiful, magnetic, lucky energy. And I want that for you. I want you to experience that because it's honestly an amazing feeling of feeling all these opportunities and all this possibility with Jupiter. This is what I help people with in my Jupiter course. Maximize your magnetism, activating your Jupiter sign for opportunities and growth in your career. I do go through relationships in the course, yet it's really to help you understand how your relationships are connected to your career. And honestly, I've seen people really double the opportunities they've received through taking this course. They start to see, oh my goodness, I wasn't focusing on that. I need to really do this ritual. I need to do this every day. I need to do this practice every day based on your specific Jupiter sign. I give very curated, step by step instructions of suggestions you can do every day to really maximize your magnetism based on the sign your Jupiter is in, but also based on the house your Jupiter is in. Very important to consider for both. And the thing is, there is a dark side to Jupiter. The dark side to Jupiter can lead to burnout, exhaustion, and overwhelm. And the dark side of Jupiter can also really be pushing people out of your life because you're just too overwhelmed by what is happening to you. You could be overwhelmed by having too many connections with Jupiter. This is a huge possibility. Maybe you just don't know how to prioritize certain relationships in your life, how to prioritize certain tasks in your career and business. This is what I go through in the Jupiter course. And I am having a live Q&A for the course in February if you want me to pull up your birth chart for this course and we can go through your Jupiter sign, which is so fantastic, so great. Even if you can't attend the live, if you purchase the course, you can still submit a question. I can answer it live and you get the recording. So it's so perfect in this way. So I'm super excited for it. I hope to see you there. I'll leave a link to that down below. You can save 50% off the course, which is a steal for a limited time. And I'm excited for it. Honestly, let's check out the testimonials for the course because people have told me it's life-changing. And it's only, I think, $111 on sale. So amazing. Take advantage of the sale while you can. And I really hope this story helped you, friend. I really hope it showed you that there is this connection. I honestly don't think I've ever heard someone talk about the connection between your friends and career that often, but it's so important. It's so important. I don't hear that very often. I think maybe it was like a handful of times. It's so interesting to look into based on your birth chart. Now, let's get into your tarot reading for this week. So, the first card out is the Page of Wands, and this is really interesting. The Page of Wands is really this beginner stage. So, at the beginning of the week, you can feel like you're trying to get more excited about life. You want to do something creative, you want to do something expressive. This is a playful energy. I am getting this message that if you're dating someone, this is more so flirting. It might not be a serious thing. Again, this isn't the best time to date with Mars retrograde. So, this is a heads up. This doesn't mean you can't date. For sure, I would say I would recommend not to commit to anyone until after Mars ends its retrograde. I do want to say that because I was getting that message very clearly. Yet, this is a very playful energy. This is a have some fun energy. So, try to take this childlike wonder into your week because that's going to make you feel so much better. That's going to make you feel so fun. That's going to just make you feel so much more loved and so much more excited for the week ahead. The next card out is the Four of Wands reverse. So this week is going to shake things up for us a lot. And this is because it's going to give you a new perspective of what you want for the future. The Four of Wands is usually this card of, okay, what do I truly envision my future life, my dream life to look like? Now, I do think we're going to have some conversations around this week. Yet, what's also important with this is because of the reversal, this is an internal reflection. You could internally be feeling as though, okay, something has shifted within me and I need to approach what I want for the future in a different way. You could feel like, okay, I'm overwhelmed by this. I need to either let something go or I need to see, do I actually want this? Do I actually want what I've been working for? Do I actually want this type of relationship I'm looking for? Maybe it's changing up your dating strategy. Maybe it's changing up your business strategy. I really see this week. It's going to give us that message because guess what? The next card out is the Tower card. And I'm always like, ooh, this is going to be an intense week. If we get the Tower card, something needs to change. We're going to see next week that you could get this breakthrough around, okay, maybe this foundation isn't fully set. Maybe I need to completely clear this out and start fresh. Maybe I need to really change up what I do every day and create a more solid routine for myself. This is just one example, or maybe it's a business structure that no longer is working for you, or maybe it's a person that wasn't actually that stable for you. I'm getting this message of this is an internal self love foundation of, oh, I thought I loved myself, but I have this deeper layer to uncover of I still have work to do. Oh, okay, that one hit me a little too deep. Now, the block this week, we have the Knight of Cups, and this is really interesting as a block. So, you could want to express your love for someone, you could want to receive love next week, yet this is being blocked in some way, and we're not really sure why. I kind of see this as there's some tension. Maybe there's just too much going on from the transits of the week. There is a lot at the beginning of the week, but I also see this as maybe you don't fully trust this. I'm hearing this message, or maybe you're just feeling as though something's off. My intuition is telling me something is off. So I asked for a clarifier on this of how we can heal to receive more love, and we got the Three of Cups. So I love this. I see this as us celebrating with our friends. us reconnecting with friends, us getting in touch, asking for what you need, asking, okay, when are you free? Or can I have a phone call? Or can I send a voice message? Right? Voice memos are so great. I love sending people voice notes because honestly, super lovely. It's actually so fun. It's something that I really look forward to is listening to a friend's voice note. So I'm hearing that message. Send someone a voice note. Honestly, it can really cheer someone up. It could cheer you up. That's really lovely. But I see this as us trying to include more people in our life, trying to not necessarily let go of anyone this week. I think what I'm hearing is even though I share this story about being bullied as a kid, maybe it's not about letting go of certain friends. Maybe it's just prioritizing more people, and you can still see someone once a year, twice a year, every so often. You can still be friends with someone, and you might not be close friends with them. However, you can still send them love. You can still wish them the best. You can still tell them happy birthday, right? But I really see this card as us needing to get into community, us needing to celebrate our wins with friends and celebrate them and celebrate us. And I see this as such a beautiful, beautiful opportunity. Our oracle cards are don't take it all too seriously. So if you've been feeling kind of stuck and stubborn, this is your sign to change things up. We also got slow change. So again, Mars is retrograde. It can feel a bit frustrating. We can feel like things are delayed. It can feel like too much. So take your time. Try not to rush the process. That's really, really important right now. We also got begin again. So I think next week, especially with the Pluto cazimi, we're going to get this fresh new start and we're going to see things in a new light. I love this. The last card is coming together, all about connection, right? So I think we're going to really learn more about ourselves through a relationship next week. And I do feel like this is your sign to reach out to a friend that you haven't talked to in a while and to really connect and show some love to the people you love in your life, right? Tell someone you love them. So I really hope this helped, friend. I really hope it helped. If you'd like a private birth chart reading with me, you can book a reading with me in February. I just have 4 spots left. If you are an Aquarius and you would like a solar return birthday reading with me, you can book a lovely year ahead reading. Those are super fun if you want to know the major themes of the next year of your life. And I hope to see you for the free 2025 workshop. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to go through the major transits of 2025, what you need to know, and just to help you plan ahead and get more excited for the year so that you're prepared to change your life. So I'm super, super excited for that. I hope to see you there. Just remember, the universe has your back, and with peace and love, take care.